Hello, hello, hello. Hello. How's everybody doing tonight? All cameras are working, appear to be working. And we got, the VHS camcorder here. And we're having a good time. We got the fire going. We got the stream going. Everything is working so far. There's one TV that just doesn't want to stay on the signal. Not sure what the deal is there. Other than that, everything is working to perfection. All right, let's, I'm going to stop yapping. And just get to the show. Look at this fire.
You're cute too, Doc.
For the settlement's business. Until the railway went in, everything traded through Edmonton had to be hauled by wagon or sled and shipped by riverboat across the...
If I'm ever lucky enough to have a child who has royal blood, then yes, the child shall be yours.
If we've a pact, it's time to act. Gold! Gold! Golden yellow, precious metal, glorious coin of the realm. Hidden in countries all over
who set about building a high tower to make a name for himself and his people, and to keep from being scattered as God had commanded. So we have a double mystery to explore. First, was there actually a tower?
Wishing they weren't.
So that some precious hooper and pull out thread the height.
Oh, his pole's broken. Coast has always been an attacker, and it doesn't really matter. Oh, what a victim!
How the drama may have...
Has he got the car? He has this car.
Should be all treated. Let's give them the crowd their money's worth up there.
Daryl Dawkins doesn't shatter records. He specializes in backboards and labeling his awesome dunk shots things like, "In your face, chocolate thunder." This one in Kansas City had the force of...
We call our world planet Earth. A more apt name might be planet Ocean, since the oceans cover more than 70% of the globe's surface. This vast amount of water probably grew from the condensation of volcanic steam and from the melting of ice in comets which struck the primeval Earth. From the beginning,
That's good. Trust Trojan to experience your ultimate excitement and pleasure.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
My job is done here. Okay, first we'll check out that cute little filly. Trojan, America's #1 condom. The most trusted for a most enjoyable experience.
The Cambridge crew's turn to sink.
Won't sink into the deep, but they're still in
For months, the clan will be nervous and quarrelsome, weakened against attack by lions or other hyena clans. The life of the princess is also in turmoil.
From the ground, one sometimes wonders how it was that any jet got in
out and back in one piece. Truly a fog bank of confusion, smoke, debris, and hostile fire. The pilot flying down on the deck across this disorienting, charred piece of land called Quezon must find the friendlies and get his eyes on the target, pickle his load, and get out in a matter of seconds.
The long-range strategic B-52s were used
a lady in your life really happy this Christmas? I mean really, really happy? Well, this would be a good start. But if you're really to impress her, you should get her something she can truly enjoy from Radio Shack, like this.
The deep ocean. That's called the continental slope. Then when you get to the base of the slope, there's a huge, long, shallow slope where all the debris that's coming
Ms.
off
Helen Douglas,
the continent
the state intercourse champ.
While our game is being temporarily held up, our well-known organist, who's located in the center field stands, is going to entertain you by diddling on his organ.
For the Philadelphia Warriors, in the first half, Will Chamberlain was high with
Very
some
soon,
blanks and scored the half.
she becomes alienated by her uncertainty and leaves the den.
No, this can't be.
Can it be you've so soon forgot who saved you from your desperate spot?
You're to guard all the planes against sabotage. His order would eventually have disastrous consequences.
Whoa, planes.
Thing you must guess.
Oh, please, anything.
I'm just an angel in the sky.
This radio announcer, he had the magnificent radio voice, but he had a device.
Work in Honolulu. The announcement of the attack roused excitement among the Japanese pilots. They were shown maps and quizzed on the types of U.S.
There were two favorites in that race. One was Faultless, and the other was Jet Pilot.
Microscopic shells of organisms that are in the plankton, and also all the clay and dust that blows out to sea in the air and then falls down.
Himself. I've got to tell you the truth, Dave. It's hopeless. Perhaps by tomorrow. No longer.
So glad you came. Are you all right now?
Now, don't bother about me, dear. I'm all right now.
I know the truth, dear. It's goodbye.
No, Ann, dear. You're not going to leave me. I won't let you.
We must be brave, dear.
Damage, lost the systems on the airplane.
And ask yourself where this was going to happen.
Lateral a horse.
All right, we missed. We struck out. Well, Babe Ruth.
Cross-country skiing.
And then the child away I'll take.
Champagne powder beckons people from all over the world to challenge these majestic mountains.
Come on, that stuff. Swing it.
Rock-a-bye, baby, on the tweet top. When the wind blows, the equator will walk. When the bow breaks, the equator will fall. Down will come, baby.
You here, you strange little man?
Oh, yes, yes, yes!
I love you so.
I love you so.
Continental Divide and are the largest mountain parkland in the world.
Jasper National Park is a protected area that protects the Rocky Mountain ecosystem, and Jasper National Park is one of the mountain parks in that ecosystem.
What happened to my castle?
Species vegetation.
Gisela! Have you seen what's happened to our castle?
And Gisela rose to greet her husband. She explained her father's...
There's a rug. The route.
Her rescue by the...
Route.
Pearl Harbor would get a restful night's sleep. The tragic events that followed the next morning would have far-reaching consequences.
Most wondrous Lord, I burned an ox and 2 sheep this morning on the altar.
Not enough! Don't you see heaven right out at us? Burn more ox and sheep.
The Canadian Rockies are a sparkling, jeweled crown. Year-round, world travelers come to look in awe at the mountain routes that wind through a jumble of castle-like ridges, plateaus and Matterhorns, tumbling rivers and...
He who greets with fire. He is the hyena killer.
Waved and cheered, "Banzai, Banzai," a ceremonial chant meaning hooray, hooray.
Pulse of sound toward the ocean bottom and record the amount of time it takes for that sound to bounce off the bottom and back to the device. By converting echo time into water depth, an echo-sounding device draws a 2-dimensional profile of the ocean floor beneath the research vessel.
One midget sub managed to enter the harbor. However, it was spotted at approximately 6:45 a.m. Honolulu time. The destroyer USS Ward dropped depth charges and gunfire, destroying the sub.
Exquisite.
The pan, Mr. Douglas?
No, the fair owner herself.
May I look
Mr. Douglas, I wonder if you'd do me a great favor.
Yes.
And pray present me to this young lady.
Miss Todd?
Yes.
May I present one of the leading lawyers of Springfield? Mr. Abraham Lincoln.
Mr. Lincoln?
Deciphered 14th page of the 14-part note over the U.S. intelligence decoding machine.
As the sheet cools, the two metals react to each other, creating spots. The sheet goes into storage to give the alloy time to stabilize. 2 to 3 months later, it's ready to be formed into organ pipes. First, they cut pieces of metal in the shape of each pipe using templates and large rulers.
Question: could all of the races and language variations have come from one? Theoretically, it now seems quite possible.
It's common knowledge in anthropology that the growth of world population in the ancient world, in the Near East, primarily between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. The interesting thing about this is that we have a document in the book of Genesis that describes this ancient process as having begun right here in and around the Tower of Babel. And of course, this is exactly what modern anthropology knows by way of the evidence.
God confounded their languages and they were spread around the world. And you could go all over the world and see the evidence that the ancients of the past reconstructed what they were doing at Babel. The pattern of the ziggurat that was built in the ancient Sumerian area where the Tower of Babel was built can be found literally all over the world. Some of the pyramids and ziggurats are identical. And they're found in South America, they're found in Central America, they're found in Cambodia, in Indonesia, in India. Worldwide, there's evidence of ziggurats and towers associated with religious sites that communicate with spiritual dimension.
You have seen and heard the arguments about the Tower of Babel as told in chapter 11 of Genesis. Is this story essentially true, or is it a myth? Considering the scientific data supporting the origins of great When Nebuchadnezzar still reigned in the city of Babylon 2,500 years ago, he left his legacy for future kings inscribed on cuneiform tablets to repair,
making the trapdoor valve drop down and let the air in. The console is the organ's brain. It contains all the controls for the keys and sets of pipes. The organ's white keys are made of lindenwood covered with bone. The black keys of ebony or rosewood.
Along with Stanley Park, Capilano Suspension Bridge was the first paid attraction in Vancouver, and it's been in existence since 1889. It wasn't quite the same then.
They
it was
the organ and ship it to its destination.
and the fabled tower.
The voicers come on site to perform what's called tonal finishing. They check and adjust each pipe according to the acoustics of the room.
I mean, it was an absolute zoo.
The Russians celebrated, as we did years later after beating them in hockey. The Americans refused to attend the ceremony to accept the silver medals.
I don't think there'll ever be that controversy.
Side by side, according to General Short's orders, were now like sitting ducks, easy targets for enemy gunfire.
Cookware that's safe for food use. The aluminum must be pure, no other metals mixed in. It all starts with a round aluminum sheet called a blank. They stamp the pot size and company name on what will be the bottom of the pot. They clamp it on.
This whole part here is a headdress, which is the eagle clamp. And these points here, in the old days, like I've used cedar sticks here, but in the old days they used walrus whiskers, which represented potlatches that a chief had in his life. And coming a little bit lower here, here's the face here. And the eyes are always in this position because
to the Sunshine Coast or into the northern part of.
Then rivet on aluminum handles. The pot is now finished. Items that aren't as large and heavy are spun on a hand lathe. This is where you need an experienced
At the time,
spinner.
we didn't know we hit the West Virginia.
Mechanical science, you've got to have a feel for it.
そしてやがて待ちに待った
The torpedo bombers released their torpedoes, which splashed into the water. The bombers were like dragonflies skimming over the surface of.
Recently, the scientists off the California coast have spent countless hours observing the white shark and are now
before pointing out the obscure rule limiting the use of pine tar.
That's Nick Bremigan with the
This is going to be an interesting
1912,
call.
the government of the day took February of 1912. And that was...
Is this the burial cloth of Jesus? Decide for yourself as you view the Shroud of Turin, fraud or evidence of crime. Scientific demonstrations. Quality entertainment. You'll
Not aware of the pine tar rule and
Happily for the eager media.
and the element of surprise. It stalks this baby seal from below and behind.
8 a.m. The battleship sounding fire and rescue. Burning fuel oil now filled the harbor. Admiral Kimmel and General Short were out golfing that morning when they received the news.
Kimmel was ships blowing up, the great ships dying, and he looked at those and it was sad. All of us. He looked at the person around him and said, it would have been more merciful if it had killed me.
How different it was after that morning. We grew up from a 19-year-old kid to a 19-year-old man, an old man.
Now, the pine tar game is finally over. Maybe. The game.
Able to ambush its prey there.
New data revealed at the symposium indicates that great whites, unlike most other shark species, are daytime hunters. And although the whites have an acute sense of smell, they may be primarily a visual predator, cruising just under the surface and looking up for potential meals. This comes as bad news to surfers.
Get their entire supply of energy and warmth from the interior of the Earth itself. They live kilometers beneath the ocean's surface in a world as alien as any encountered in outer space.
The vast commitment of people and technology focused on understanding the seafloor is driven by two fundamental.
Mr. Lincoln, you know ever since John Brown slaved, the South has been infuriated. The East on the verge of revolt. New York threatens to quit the Union.
No, New York mustn't do that. They must keep the front door on the hinge. There can be no secession.
Actually formed. The geology of the sea holds the answers to questions and provides unexpected intellectual dividends as well, such as the fantastic discovery of a self-contained ecology associated with deep-sea hydrothermal vents. Our industrial global civilization.
More boiling too.
Needs deep consideration.
Well, Mr. Lincoln, maybe we meet you at our...
Welcome to the show. This is the intermission. Quite the show we have so far. I hope you're enjoying it. Looks like we had 3 people watching. And that's pretty typical of my streams. Not a lot of people, but that's okay. I got some diehards. Out there. And yeah, we're just... we're trying to make some art. We're trying to make some video art. Video art, yep. Scramble. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody out there. And be sure to watch the playback recording. You can watch it more than once, actually, too. I've done that. It gets addicting. It really does. You don't know what's coming next, you know. You really don't. So yeah, we're gonna get back to the show here. I'm gonna stop yapping, and I think we're gonna have a really good second half. Not gonna lie to you. So let's get to it. Yeah. Hold on. Getting serious out here.
the topography of
several years.
I firmly believe there is a renaissance of train travel on the horizon. Well, we've had a generation going faster. It hasn't necessarily made things better. The world is now reaching an environmental crossroads, and it would appear that the train travel is going to be one of the answers to reducing these great overruns of automobiles and atmospheric pollution and so on.
The Whistler Northwind made the run to Prince George in 3 days, a memorable trip through magnificent landscapes.
The first pipes inject the water.
Of rolling stock and 24 heritage buildings on the site.
Sticky. Blocks in the...
This...
Battle of China.
Right. Wait, somebody got a hit. Hit. Enemy squad. Understand your hit. Or negative bad guy squad. Negative friendly squad.
Left 7, visual left 9.
Stroke 4 status.
Stroke 4 status.
Stroke 3 dressing southeast.
Stroke 8 line.
Cover south. Another SAM launch. Same location. SAM.
Who, if they escape the jaws of their cannibalistic mother, immediately begin to hunt. As the pups mature, their namesake stripes will fade, and they will grow rapidly, attaining a maximum size of nearly 20 feet.
It was only 168 years ago that Washington crossed the Delaware. Only 452 years have passed since Columbus discovered America. It's 1,500 years since the world saw the fall of the ancient Roman Empire. 3,400 years have gone by since Moses received the 10 Commandments. 3,700 years have passed since the pyramids were built. But more than 4,000 years ago, the Chinese Empire was already in existence. And more important, so was the Chinese civilization, a civilization of art and learning and peace.
In the world. Well, there's some very vivid imagery in terms of animal figures that are portrayed in the Northwest Coast art, and that stems from
one receptacle, glass, plastics, and metals in another. At the sorting plant, the truck dumps each receptacle
into the land where the Great Snake River twists down the valley. The hunting parties were already taking down their hide teepees for the season. It was in the early 1800s that French-speaking fur trappers, seeking highly profitable beaver pelts, gave the peaks the name they bear today. The trappers called the 3 highest peaks Les Trois Titans.
Movies took on another wrestler, Andre the Giant, a 400-pounder who nearly swallowed him whole.
Chuck is the kind of guy who would probably...
Task force members search for the missing and apparently eaten chunk of surfboard that will positively identify the attacking shark.
Comes from all over,
But the lost clue to the mystery is not found in the shark's stomachs, but by a local fisherman, leaving the guilt or innocence of these sharks a matter of speculation.
A fisherman found the other piece later that afternoon.
Chuck was 6'6" or 6'6" and a half.
Sadly, things don't always work as they should. In this next sequence, you'll see the bombs that turn out to be duds, the missiles that skip, canisters that break up in midair, and the pilot too focused on the bomb run.
You can't.
If the whole population of China were to walk past you, four abreast, there would never be an end to the procession.
Are now
For new
tiny
Chinese
little
would be
plastic
born
flakes,
and would grow up before the last
cleaning
man
by
could pass
friction
through.
and water. Any remaining glass or other contaminants now sink to the bottom,
are the
while the
trumpeter's
lighter
swans,
plastic flakes
from the
float to the top.
Named for their booming, trumpet-like call, there are only some 1,700 trumpeter swans in
the name of gold, you come gold. Well, Carmack's and old Tag is Charlie, and Cuckoo Jim on Bonanza
in North America.
Who fought Joe Louis and knocked him down. So why not take on a bear? But notice he's not trying to get the bear angry.
The press. And come out looking a bit like Roney.
Jackie Barnett, a TV producer, thought up that one for tennis. His Tony Galento was Bobby...
Heritage site. And that's because of three features, three very prominent features, which are best found in this area of North America. And one is the highest mountains in Canada, of which Switchology is the highest, just under 20,000 feet, and it and about 35 other
defenses.
above 15.
Today, a fighter crew delivers the same tonnage as a fully crewed B-17. Has the job gotten any easier? No. But the technology...
Arches National Park. A stone forest of gnarled and tortured pinnacles.
The mold goes in at 230 degrees Celsius for just about 7 or 8 minutes.
This ice field
It takes just 2.5 minutes.
It's in
Cycling bin.
deep and
Has been fighting our enemy, Japan, for 7 long years.
Responsible scientists.
In 1930, Alfred Wegener died of a heart attack while attempting to cross the Greenland ice cap.
Very driven by technology. And it turns out, I hate to admit anything was good about World War II, but it was very good for developing new technologies.
This new technology
Straight into it. To put things in proper perspective, there was a prayer that I kept a copy of.
Gullible. The Riggs King extravaganza was also a con.
It's 5 kilometers wide.
There's a pot of gold at the rainbow's end. There's gold in them there hills. Each golden hill
which is the border between the provinces and the territories. And if we were at the same latitude further east in Canada, would be well above tree line into very subarctic or Arctic conditions. But here, because of the Pacific climate, which is salt water only being 100 miles away, we have the northernmost range of a lot of Pacific plant species and southern animal species. Most notable species is Dall sheep, and there's about 5,000.
I just, Ronnie was catching and he said that, be heads up, this guy can throw pretty hard.
Over
I expected maybe 90, maybe
medium-term time.
And when he let that thing go, I said, Ron, I go, do you throw it? He goes, yeah, it's right here.
The results of the study could enable scientists to actually predict where an aggressive shark might strike next and provide clear-cut support to the theory that tigers prefer a home range
from Skyline
staking out a
Arch,
particular
doubling the size of the arch's opening. Yet sudden change is rather rare in nature. Many of the most impressive natural monuments evolve so slowly that no change can be detected within a human lifetime.
As continued shark attacks became Hawaii's top story just before Christmas 1992, shockwaves reverberated
gigantic
throughout the surfing community.
Well, it definitely makes you look around a lot more. This out surfing, especially in this area, because there's been one guy died over here, or they never found him, and then Rick got bit here, and then over there at Chun's we had that guy get his board eaten. So yeah, it's pretty heavy out there sometimes.
On his own eradication program.
There's no one particular group that
document in stone a 70 million year span of the age of
lived on these islands for the last 10,000 years.
Modernization of China. Chinese industry.
He weighs and measures a sample.
Traditional
transportation was slow and inadequate, but now railroads began to link
but
the
not
great
too much.
seaports and
Thus, this remarkable landscape is
Jimenez once again crashed the All-Star game. After warming up with Don Mattingly, he almost made it to batting practice before getting caught.
And the song that they sang was for gold. The higher and higher their lungs seemed to fire, and their faces were numb with the cold. They slipped and they fell, they scream and they yell, their faces turned haggard and pale. Some cried, help me please, as they fell to their...
Sharks in general don't bother me. I swim with sharks all the time. Grays, whites, Galapagos, hammerheads. It's the tigers, those are the ones. To have people come up to me and say, save the shark, it's kind of ridiculous, in my opinion, especially tigers.
Well, the term paleomagnetism refers to ancient magnetic fields of the Earth. We can learn about.
Linked to Cadbury and not as a minor outpost. Excavations continued.
About the orientation of the magnetic field at that time in the past.
By the early 1960s,
day period.
Frost and ice.
Shark attack was also a problem in World War II. Without an effective shark repellent, downed airmen and shipwrecked sailors became victims by the hundred.
And we all now know about the islands in the Pacific that Japan fortified in violation of all international treaties. These were the reasons why it was possible for Japan. 1/20th the size.
Maritime disasters attract.
Port Hardy's large and well-sheltered harbor thrives on the island's natural resources of mining, logging, and fishing. Just a half hour south of Port Hardy is
Here's the quality of the final product. Finally, they install this large metallic plate, which is the cutting base. It will be on this surface.
The next step down the grand staircase, Zion Canyon.
The Lord's house shall be established in the top of the
rat
mountain.
race. It's fun. I've enjoyed it, but
It
it is
shall be
kind
exalted
of.
above the hills.
Sometimes I think I'm
Shall flow
losing their.
unto it.
I don't know if I'm slowing down or if they're using faster rats. I'm falling back into.
Early Mormon settlers saw in here nature built with a prophet. This considered religious. For the Mormons, the formations resemble temples, cathedrals, and altars.
Cease was spearfishing with a group of friends when the shark he had been observing suddenly became aggressive.
It was very quick, if you can imagine. Feet away, and he turns, put my hands up, and he ended up getting my my forearm and thrashed for, I guess, 5 to 10 seconds before he let it go.
Surfers in Florida face the greatest risk of shark attack. Despite warnings from water safety officials, surfers often invite an encounter by boldly remaining in the water, even when sharks have been sighted. Joe Bosky, a 15-year-old surfer from
From Whitehorse to Dawson City.
And by virtue of the power and for the purpose aforesaid, I do order and declare.
Yukon waters flow. She's gonna serve the land of the midnight sun. To the Klondike land of gold, she'll sail the river bold. Her whistle blowing steam at every turn. With the smoke horizon high into the northern sky. Oh, listen to that paddle wheeler chirp. Paddle wheeler, paddle wheeler, waiting on the Yukon River shore. Paddle wheeler, paddle wheeler.
Light and delicate formations such as these will, in the farthest ravines, evolve, crumble, and fall without ever being seen by man.
Jean, well, she said, I'll show you. She took the papers, pulled open the drawer, put them in the drawer, closed the door, pushed the button. That's it, she said. He said...
Wouldn't they race in and bite them and eat them? I've seen a number of pieces of film from Florida where we have bathers in the water and they cannot see because of the glare, the reflection, or for whatever reason. But surrounding them are 50 sharks. If those sharks wanted to eat human beings, every one of them would have been taken.
South Africa is a nation with a history of tragic shark attacks extending back to the turn of the century. Many of the attacks of Africa. White, tiger, and bull sharks frequent these waters and have been primarily responsible for the more than 140 attacks on South African bathers since the 1940s. Because of the frequency of attack here, the Surf Life-Saving Association of South Africa features a shark attack drill as one of their requirements for a Surf Proficiency Award. Lifeguards must learn how to apply tourniquets and elevate limbs to prevent victims from bleeding to death, and how to stabilize the victim to avoid shock.
You can't visit with it, but you just tell it what to do, and it does it. It's something like a marriage relationship. I mean, you know.
And a fancy that I... Paddle wheeler, resting on the Yukon.
position was thus made untenable, and the withdrawal
with fascinating sounds and quite a
so as not to damage the platform. Pieces are gently assembled.
1400
roughly takes its shape. It's in this same mold that they will later color the clay.
California. It courses through.
The railway, however, stopped at Vancouver. Victoria threatened to secede and join the United States. To appease the islanders, the Esquimalt and Nanaimo Railway was delivered in 1886. Filled with luck 20 years later.
Seemingly
General is
the we are in.
Ni, Sam, Shi, Go, Rock.
You're sort of a soldier too. Lieutenant General Grant.
and people of the foreign powers, just yet.
The east coast of Vancouver Island. The Malahat Dayline, as the train is known, began in 1850s, following a route from the provincial
Those who make the 6,000-foot descent into the canyon from the North Rim pass through 4 different climate life zones. The extremes in temperature are comparable to traveling the 3,000 miles from the forests of British Columbia to the deserts of Sonora, Mexico. Each section displays its own distinct animal and plant life, from a scorpion scurrying.
Why don't you open the window? I can't stand it. Pardon me, General.
Hi, this is Master.
Scientists are still trying to understand the mechanics.
Narrating the
To the attention of the world. The canyon has been described 1,000 times.
Case railway operation of each one of them will have the same
armies defending Nanking.
The glories and the beauties of form, color, and sound unite in the Grand Canyon. Forms unrivaled even by the mountains, colors that vie with sunsets, and sounds that span the diaphragm.
That is the end of our session. We're getting credits. We're getting credits on the videos. Thank you for joining us this evening. We had a great time. A wonderful time. See, we're getting credits. Getting credits. Yeah, look at that. That means it's time to wrap it up. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening, and we got our 3 viewers back. I thought maybe I lost 2 of you guys there for a second, cut into some static, but you know what? That's part of the program, eh? If we lose followers, we lose live viewers. That's so be it. This is the show we're doing. Enjoy. I hope you enjoy. Oh, we got some nice glitch action going on here. Let's see if I can zoom in here. Hold on. There it is. Some good glitch action going on there on the old TV. Anyways, we're going to wrap it up. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. The fire is almost out. I got to add another log. So we'll do that, and then we'll call it a show. Thanks again for watching. Yeah.